What's up, friends and neighbors? Justin Fuller. I'm outside of a 2021 Honda Odyssey, and I've got an EXL behind me today. So the first thing I want to talk to you is about some of the differences they've made this year as far as the 21 Odyssey. So I want to start you at the front of the vehicle. They now offer LED headlights on all trims of the vehicle, so I want to point that out. And they have changed the front fascia. There's two changes here. The first being that there's a single chrome line here versus a little bit bulkier setup on the chrome. And then additionally, down near the bottom, you'll notice that your fog light display is set up a little bit different, more with a pod setup now versus the old display. So that would be on the front end of the vehicle. Now, moving into the second row, they've made some additional changes too. When I open this, see if you'll know, they have made it to where these seats will now fold down a little bit flatter. So as far as removal, you'll be able to pull this, slide this, and pull this whole seat out a little bit easier. Additionally, they have now added additional USBs to the vehicle. So if you're in a touring or elite model, you'll find 6 USBs in the car versus an EXL has 5, and then below that, you'll find the EX and LX with 2. Now, as far as safety on the vehicle, you're gonna find a couple new things. Honda sensing lands on all trim levels now, so it's gonna give you a forward collision warning and braking system. It's gonna give you additionally a road departure mitigation system, along with lane keep assist. Now, what they've added additionally on top of that this year to these vehicles is that there's a back seat reminder. So when you get out of the car, it will throw you an alert and show you either on the dash, or if you're in a touring or an elite, it will give a display using cabin watch to show you what's in that back seat so you don't forget your kiddos, your dogs, your bags, whatever it may be. So on the outside of this vehicle, you do have an 18-inch alloy wheel. If you're moving up to a touring or elite model, you'll find a 20-inch wheel on this vehicle. Now, over at your mirrors, you do have breakaway mirrors, so I can push on these, I can pull on these. You're not gonna take them out, so they're safe there, and you do have turn indicators on them to let those around you know what's going on. Now, you'll notice I do have a chrome inlay as far as my door handles, and I do have the keyless entry, so I can touch to open, and I can press the door to lock. So I have an easy entrance as far as getting in and out of the vehicle. Now, in the EX and above, you do have the sliding door system, and they do have sensors, so you don't have to worry about little hands getting crushed. If you were to close the door and a hand got in between, it's not gonna do anything particularly tough. It gives you about a pound or two of pressure before it recognizes it, right? Now, as far as opening those doors, you do have controls here. You do have them up front in the vehicle, which I'll show you here in a little bit, and you do have those controls off of the fob. So there's several different ways to get into this vehicle. Now, at the back of the Honda Odyssey, there's a couple different ways that you can enter it. First would be off the key, which would be using my button to press and hold, and that'll pop the car open. I can additionally do it from the inside on the driver's side of the vehicle additionally too, or with the key system, I can walk up with the key in my pocket, simply touch underneath the handle, and it'll open for me too. Now, in the back of the Honda Odyssey, from the 2020 to 2021, hasn't changed that much. You've still got quite a bit of cargo space that you can drop down and use here in the back of the vehicle. Additionally, this third row will fold away into that, and it's as simple as grabbing a handle, pulling this towards you, and letting it go. From there, I can tuck these seats away if I need to, and additionally, the second row is completely removable on a rail system, which I'll show you here in just a moment. Well, it's not that beautiful out today, and I'm not watching my kids play soccer, but if I was, this is a cool trick that not many dealerships will show you. If you fold the seat back but keep it locked out, you can essentially create a lounger chair for yourself. Let me show you how to do that real quick. So to fold out the lounger chair is actually surprisingly easy. All I've got to do is pull my handle, but instead of continuing to pull it, I let it go to where it remains locked. From there, I can slide up my headrest to relax my legs on, and then I can now use this as a seat. Want to set up an entire bar seat worth so that you and your spouse can watch your kids play soccer and stay out of the heat? There's nothing better than having a nice shade here, being able to sit and watch, and you do have cubbies sitting next to you, so you've got space to store your drinks while you watch the game, and you've even got a power outlet in the back of the vehicle in case you want to use that too. Want to throw the AC on with the vehicle? Your air vents are right back here, so they hit you on the back of your necks as you're enjoying what you're watching. Another trick that they don't tell you about in the Honda Odyssey. So I'm sitting in the second row of this vehicle, and you'll notice that I'm missing that center section, which I've removed. I love this about this vehicle. It makes it so much more versatile than the Pilot and some of the additional competitors out there like the Toyota Sienna and the Chrysler Pacifica, because these magic seats are on a rail system. Let me show you how that works. The sliding rail system in this vehicle is surprisingly easy to use. You'll notice that it's indicated right here, so all I have to do is grab and I can slide, and there are different sections that I can go to. Now, if I want to continue to slide this across, continue to hold, and it'll leave me a nice big gap here. So there I want these two chairs right next to each other, or I want to set up like captain's chairs with a climb through, I can absolutely do that. But if I need to make extra room for somebody to get in and out of the back, all I've got to do is slide these over. Either they could climb through here, or I can throw the seat forward and allow it to slide forward to make additional space. Now on the front of this vehicle, you're gonna find leather interior along with black across your dash, your tops, and of course your floorboards. They're nice and charcoal to prevent dirt from showing. Now in the EXL and above models, you're gonna find leather interior. So whether it be a tan, a gray, or a mocha interior, you're gonna have options depending on the exterior color. Now, as we come across the dash, you'll notice that you have a nice large display screen that's propped up to make it nice and visible for yourself, along with your AC controls, which are tri-zone, meaning you can control left, right, and back separate of each other. The display on the 2021 Honda Odyssey hasn't changed from the previous year, so you'll notice that you have a lot of the same buttons and features here. But let's talk about these real quick. One, if I wanted to customize, how would I do so? If I press and hold the button, you're gonna see this screen pop up. Once it's popped up, what this allows me to do is now customize and move different buttons around to different places. Additionally, it'll give me the ability to grab one and drag it up here into this area. So it gives me a lot of different ways to customize my screen, or if there's specifically one I don't want to use, I can hide that feature. Let's take a second to talk about Android Auto and Apple CarPlay and what they bring into the vehicle. Android Auto is going to be what I'm using today because that's the type of phone I have, but if you're an Apple user, no big deal, the button is right next to it. So for Android users, I will let you know that you will need to download the Android Auto app. Once you've done that, you can plug your phone into the USB, which is located inside the center stack of the vehicle. This will highlight, and now I can select this. Once I've opened this up, it's going to pull up immediately my map, because that's what I have it set to is my Google Maps, but I have access to not only Google Maps, Waze, or Apple Maps. To access my other apps, I can press the home button right here and see those apps. So whether it be Spotify, Google Play Music, my Google Maps, Waze, as I scroll down, my phone, iHeartMedia, there are several different apps that you can use. I'm going to take this second to throw 15 of the most popular ones up here on the screen so that you can check them out. As we talk about that, one thing I'll mention is that you'll notice there's buttons here for voice command section, which I could then ask Google, what's the weather? Or any of my other requests that I would want to do. I don't necessarily have to do that. I could access that weather from the same place in here. I've got a weather button. As I can see outside, it's been raining all day and I don't think that's going to change. So I don't think I'm going to need the weather today. But it's great that I can access my calendar and several other features in the vehicle. So don't forget, if you're comparing this to other makes or models out there, you definitely want to have that connectivity that allows you to access your mapping systems along with your music systems, because chances are you're going to be in this car for quite a long while. It is a people mover. Now, this model does have heated seats, so you'll notice that you do have LED indicators to let you know what setting you're on this, and this is in the front passenger and the front driver side seating. Additionally, on this car, what landed in 2021 is the idle stop start. This is now in all trim levels of the vehicle, meaning that if I come to a complete stop, it allows the vehicle to turn the engine off but maintain electricity to it so that I can enjoy my features but not waste gas. Now, right here, you'll notice that I do have a snow function, which when pressed will take me over here and show me that I have normal and snow as far as my options here. What this is going to do is affect the ratios in which the vehicle changes gears to help create more traction. Underneath the hood of this vehicle, you do have a 3.5-liter V6 engine offering up 280 horsepower connected to a 10-speed transmission. While we're under here, I'll point out a couple things. Your fuse box is here as far as refilling your blinker fluid. Look at me. Your windshield wiper fluid, a dipstick, and as far as accessing your oil, which is OW20, is right here. The one thing I don't like about what's underneath the hood is that you do have to remove this air box to get to your battery, which is located back here. So if you were ever to jump your car or help someone jump your vehicle, it makes it a little bit harder to use. As we come down, you'll notice that I have a nice matte finish with a rubber bottom here to be able to store a purse, a bag, my drink, water bottle, whatever that may be. And it does have a lip to prevent it from rolling around. As we move up, I do have two cup holders set up here for my driver and passenger side setup, and then a nice lipped rubber center finish here to put my phone in, which does have gaps that allows you to run the cord through to keep things nice and clean. Additionally, inside I do have some storage, a nice deep well down there, again with a rubber finish, and also with a USB and a 9mm auxiliary input jack. For my second row passengers, I do have water bottle storage additionally right here, and then as you move to the doors, I do have storage in the doors additionally also. As far as storage for the driver and passenger side, I have quite a bit of cubby holes and space to use here, and then I have a secondary row down here where I can store any of my knickknacks, needs, tissues, whatever it may be as I travel down the road on my road trip with my kids, my dogs, or my family. Alright guys, so here we are inside of a 2021 Honda Odyssey, and specifically the EXL model. We're about to take it out on a test drive. So the first things I'd like to talk about on this test drive are what are the competitors, what are the changes, and what am I getting in the EXL model that I wouldn't get in the EX? And if I wanted to jump up to that touring model, what would I be gaining? So the first thing I want to do is a 0 to 60 test here. So we'll give it some gas and go. And this 10-speed transmission travels through quickly, and this 3.5-liter V6 engine gets things up and moving quite quick. I love that about this vehicle. This is the same engine that you would find not only in the Pilot, but you'd also find in the Ridgeline of the Honda lineup. So quite a few vehicles use this model as far as the engine goes. I love that they've gone to a 10-speed transmission across the line now, which is nice to have. Additionally, what they've added in all of these vehicles now is going to be the LED headlight setup. I feel it's a little bit overdue. I think LED headlights should be in most vehicles at this point, just because you will get more visibility, especially at night in the vehicle. The front fascia made minor changes, which are not that noticeable, but they are there. Now, as far as stylishness, it is a minivan, so you can take what you want from that, but I think it is a pretty decent looking minivan as far as things go. Now, as far as competitors, on a 0 to 60 time, you're going to compete with typically cars like the Toyota Sienna and the Chrysler Pacifica. My 0 to 60 time is actually a little bit shorter on my Honda Odyssey than it would be on my Toyota Sienna. But what you will find is that the Toyota Sienna does have 16 extra horsepower under the hood. Now, some things that Toyota and Chrysler are doing really well that I wish Honda would is that they offered this vehicle, or their minivans I should say, in a hybrid setup. Honda currently doesn't do that. Not only does Toyota offer in a hybrid setup, but additionally they offered in an all-wheel drive setup also, which I find to be something maybe necessary depending on what part of the country you live in and what the weather is like. Now, as far as the Chrysler goes, I think you'll find that the towing capacity and the interior features are much the same. But I will tell you that if you needed to tow behind this vehicle, while this vehicle does offer 3,500 pounds of towing capacity, if you want that extra 100 pounds, you might want to go up to the Chrysler Pacifica. You will get 3,600 pounds out of that vehicle. With that said, the two compete quite well. Now, if I'm moving over to the Sienna, I do like that they offer an all-wheel drive model. However, you are going to give up some of that gas mileage that you'll get. Right now, what I'll do is I'll throw up on the screen what the gas mileage is for the Honda, but also competing against Toyota and the Chrysler Pacifica. Now, there's a lot of trims here and there's a lot of options, whether it be all-wheel drive or it be a hybrid model, so there may be a couple things popping up on the screen, but I think this will give you a good indicator to where these vehicles live and what kind of gas mileage you can expect to get out of them. When it comes to safety in this vehicle, you have quite a few different features working for you that are not only new to the 21, but that are a little bit nicer and not necessarily living inside of other makes and models. The seat reminder would be new to 2021, along with I do have lane keep assist, which will keep me centered in my lane, which I'm actually going to engage right now, to where if I drift a little bit to my left, it'll actually pull me over and keep me centered in my lane. Now, the caveat to this feature is that I can not be going under 45 miles an hour, so I am going to be moving down the road a little bit quicker. One thing that is nice is that this feature actually does work with your windshield wiper blades on, which you will not find in some of the other models that Honda offers. This vehicle does offer adaptive cruise control, which is a really cool feature. What I really like about this is that it offers a low speed follow setting also, meaning that once I've set my speed, which is as easy as pressing a button, I then select the distance that I wanted to keep between me and the cars in front of me, and it'll keep that spacing. Now, when I come up on a car at a complete stop, believe it or not, this vehicle will actually take me all the way down to the complete stop, which is a really nice feature to have if you're on a long road trip and you just want to let the car do most of the braking and gassing for you. Now, additional, while we're talking about gassing and braking, they have added an electronic brake booster to this vehicle this year, meaning that it's going to give you a nice firm stop, but it's still going to be a smooth finish. So it's not going to bring you to that abrupt finish that you might expect if you were using something like a lane keep assist or an adaptive cruise control. Now, if you're comparing this vehicle to a Honda Pilot, which I find many people do, the thing that I run into typically is that they don't necessarily want to own a minivan. They would much prefer to own a SUV. However, there are some pluses to this vehicle that I'll let you know about when comparing this to, let's say, a Honda Pilot or a Toyota Highlander out there. The first would be the seating versatility. As you saw earlier in the video, I have a second row that's sliding and removable, and then I have a third row that removes and folds away, giving me either the additional storage space when I don't have it folded away, or if I need long and cubic space, I've got that. On top of that, this car is very kid-friendly. And what I mean by that is you have sliding door handles that the kids can easily grab to open. It's got sensors set up to where if a hand gets stuck in it, it's not going to close on it, much like a car or an SUV door would. And then additionally, the entry level is nice and low for these kids, so they can actually climb in and out of the vehicle by themselves. Now when it comes to the seating, I can create space between my kids. So if I need to set up the captain's row in the second seats, I absolutely can to create that space to prevent two kids from fighting, or maybe later into the day who could need a nap and are heading into that meltdown phase. Now, as far as comparing this car to necessarily the EX down below it, the biggest thing that you're gonna give up is gonna be that leather interior, which I find a lot of people want if they have kids or dogs. But what I'm gonna do is I'll throw up on the screen the items that you're gonna be giving up if you drop down a model, along with the money I'll show you that you're saving if you drop down a model. Now, following that, we'd talk about moving up a model, and that would be moving from the EXL up to the Touring model. So the same thing I will show you on the screen. A majority of what it is you're gaining navigation, and you are gaining a Blu-ray player for the back half of the vehicle. I don't know if that's make or break, but what I'll do is show the additional features that you're getting, such as the 20-inch wheels and some of those extra features that you would add if you're moving and going up. I'll additionally show you right here what that MSRP changes, so how much money is going to cost me, Justin, to move up that model. So this way you can see really where this vehicle lives as far as in its pricing and what the features are that you're giving up or that you're gaining by climbing or losing a model. So that's the 2021 Honda Odyssey EXL. Hopefully you enjoyed the vehicle and you'll give me a like. If you have questions or concerns, please feel free to comment on the video, or in the description, I'll put a way to call or text me. Feel free to email me, or you can always comment on Facebook. I've got plenty of ways you can reach out to me. Other than that, I want to say thank you again for watching. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. Please like the video, and please do leave a comment. Later, guys!